So I ended up still working on the process. I cleaned up the barrel the same way that I did with the magazine tube, a little bit of steel wool, some soapy hot water, and then rubbing alcohol, and put a couple of coats of bluing on that. And here you can see the process as I go along. This piece on the bottom is actually the end of the barrel that I shortened to make this a more desirable shotgun. You can see the original finish versus what the new finish looks like. And here again, you can see some during photos of how the receiver looks now. And this is the quote unquote finished product. I still haven't done anything to fix the stock on this, and I'm still debating whether or not I want to try to glue this back together or buy another one.
And fast forwarding to present day, for those of you that have been around my channel for a while, you may have seen this Remington Model 17 20 gauge shotgun that I bought. This is a bottom feed, bottom eject, kind of like the Ithaca 37. Actually, the Ithaca 37 was based on this shotgun. But in previous videos, I did a lot of cleanup work, taking out the caked up, gunky, burnt powder and mud out of the action on this to smoothen it up and actually make it usable. Straightened out some dents on the magazine tube and reblued the barrel, magazine tube, and the receiver. And I really like the patina on this gun, but fixing the stock, the cracks and all that was a little bit beyond my realm of expertise. Really not good at working on wood, and I really didn't want to have to worry about this thing shattering when I'm shooting this, so I decided to go ahead and order a Boyd's Hardwood shotgun stock. Now, Boyd's, when you buy them, say that they might need a little bit of fitting to make them work, and this one was no exception, but when I say little, I mean little. And if you look at the profile of the original Model 17 stock to the new one, the angle of the cut of the comb on the back of this thing is very different, as well as the very angle of the butt plate that's different. And it actually lends itself to easier installation on the Boyd stock because of the angle of the bolt going through the stock is cut at a completely different angle. If we look at the ends of these where all the work has been done to inlet it and fit it on the shotgun, you can see that they're slightly different, and the new one doesn't have any of those hideous cracks or anything else going on like the original Model 17 stock. If you look at them side by side, the original stock had two holes drilled in it, not really sure why. On that stock, the top hole mounted it to the frame, and on the Boyd stock, the only hole that's there mounts it to the frame. You have this little tang coming off the back of the receiver, and that's what you actually have to screw into the stock. You can see here when I mounted the stock on the gun, there's a little bit of a gap between the receiver and the stock, and that's what I had to work on to get it to fit properly. Looking at it from the side, it looks like it fits pretty well. It's a good shape. And while I was in there, I had to use a longer bolt to get it to install, so I ended up using a stud instead of a bolt. Threaded that stud into the end of the receiver, and then I was able to use a nut on the inside of that to hold it on. I like doing this in a lot of cases anyway because I'm a little bit leery about running the bolt in and out of that receiver a whole bunch of times. And now this is what it looks like on the gun. After I did a little bit of sanding work to get it to fit properly, the gap where it meets the receiver is much smaller, and there's no interference with the back of the trigger guard anymore. There is a little tiny gap at the very top of the frame here where I rub my finger on it in a second. I can actually catch my finger on the frame of the receiver. So it's not exactly a perfect fit, but when you're trying to hand make a wooden stock and you don't actually have the receiver in-house, you're bound to be off by a little bit. The hardwood on this thing looks pretty exceptional, and it looks like it actually does have some age to it, so it matches the rest of the shotgun pretty well. All in all, I have no qualms about how this stock fit. I have no qualms about how it looks on the shotgun, and I had no issues with the little bit of work that I had to do to put it on there. So very nice addition to the shotgun for about $100 and probably about an hour and a half's worth of work. And here's the finished product. You can see it's a little bit lighter tone than the foregrip on this, but that's to be expected because the foregrip has like 115 years of hand grease and oil rubbed into it. You can see that Boyd's butt plate. I actually tried using a reproduction Model 17 butt plate, but the shape of the end of the stock is a little bit bigger than the original as well, and the length of pull is about an inch longer as well. So it actually fits me better than it did, and even though it doesn't have a Remington UMC butt plate on it, I think it still looks pretty classy with that Boyd's butt plate. You can see here again the receiver and the barrel and mag tube, the bluing work that I'd done to clean them up over time. And again, they're still not perfect, but this gun has been rode hard and put away wet many, many times. So all in for $100 plus a few dollars shipping, I think the stock is an exceptional addition to this shotgun. I'm really happy with how it looks, and now that I got it fixed, I'm not afraid to take this thing out to the range and shoot it. So very soon, hopefully, I'll get this thing out to the range. I do still have to put a bead sight on the front of the barrel, which I've done it on my Ithaca 37, and it wasn't that bad, so I'm not too worried about doing it this time. So thanks again for watching another edition of Cranky Gun Reviews. God bless America. Support your 2A rights. Get out there and shoot. And you remember, if someone asks you to give up some of your freedom for the greater good, remind them that freedom is always the greater good.